All right, you degenerates that play Genshin Impact, let me tell you something about this character. I didn't have her on my radar, but there's so much potential with Chevreuse for some awesome gameplay and team compositions in Genshin Impact, something that we really haven't seen before. We've seen stuff like mono Electro, mono Pyro. What if we ran a Pyro Electro team? She's kind of got everything you need. She's got it all. You want some damage? We have that. You want some supportive aspects? We have those too. So let's break this down real quick. Why do I think she's going to be a super awesome character to play around with? Now, first and foremost, she is going to fulfill the ability for you to play with Pyro and Electro characters together. Now, we all played Genshin at one point. We had Fischl as well as Xingling, and we had just overloaded reactions, right? Level 10, just feeling really good about our life. If you didn't, then I'm sorry. Your life's just not as fulfilling as ours is from being able to do that at level 10. All right, now what we have here though is this very important passive talent. If you have just Pyro and Electro characters in your party and you have at least one of each, so you can't go 4 Pyro, 0 Electro, you have to go like 3 Pyro, 1 or 2 and 2 or 3 and 1, you're gonna have the ability to have a very powerful resistant shred. Now we all love Viridescent Ven reset. She kind of has it built in her kit for your team already, because anytime an enemy is hit by overloaded, which good luck not doing overloaded in a Pyro Electro team, you're gonna get 40% resistant shred for 6 seconds. So she's basically got VV set built into her kit. Think about that for a second. She literally has the set that makes Animo as an element as good as it is, just built into her, right? She basically is like your 5th character, your Animo character in your Pyro and Electro team, because she's doing this for you. That's not all that she does. She has a second passive as well that's going to give you a little bit of an attack buff. So for every 1000 HP you have on your Chevreuse, you're going to get 1% attack for all your Pyro and Electro characters. You don't need to maximize this, in my opinion, because you need a 40,000 HP Chevreuse, which you can do, but I don't think you want to do that. And we'll talk about that in a second. But even if you only have like 20k health, this is going to give you 20% attack for all of your Pyro and all of your Electro characters in your party. So you're kind of wearing like a Noblish Oblige 4-piece bonus set, right, at all times with this here, and then also wearing a Viridescent Ven reset at the same time. Now, why don't you want to build a full health on her? That's because we have this very awesome elemental skill. The hold version has this very nice multiplier on it. It's not, you know, Navi of 9 million % mod, but it's got a pretty nice mod, 451%. It's not based off of your max health, it's based off of your attack. How do you get that though? Very easy. You need this thing called an overcharged ball, which you'll get any time someone triggers overload as a reaction. So basically all of the time. It's not going to be hard to do whatsoever. You also have a little Awisa alignment. So we have some nice off-field damage that we can, you know, sort of quick swap into, but that's not everything that it does, because yes, it's got a heal duration on it, and this is based off of her max health. And if you take a shot with this, you can heal. So you can use her as a damage dealer, you can use her as a healer. She's got Viridescent Ven reset for this team setup for you. She's an attack buffer as well. And that's not even talk about the artifact sets that you can put on her. You can do big elemental skill damage with possibly Golden Troops, swap in real quick, boom, big damage there. Or you can give her a more, you know, supportive aspect set as well to increase and enhance the other Electro and Pyro characters in your party. Like, think about like the Hyper Raiden team. I like the Hyper Raiden Shogun team, and a lot of the time that's literally just Electro and Pyro characters. Maybe you can throw in Zhongli as your Geo character for a shield, but maybe you swap Zhongli out for Chevreuse and you have Bennett, Chevreuse, Raiden Shogun, and then what's her name? The bird girl, Kujo Sara. You throw that in there, all of a sudden you're gonna give your Raiden Shogun resistant shred. You're gonna give your Kujo Sara resistant shred. You're gonna have the ability to buff up Raiden Shogun and Kujo Sara's attack a little bit as well based off of this. And you're gonna have a secondary healer that's not just Bennett, because if you're like me, I hate standing in that field as my only source of healing. I absolutely hate it. But you're gonna have the ability to do all of that and have someone else do damage as well. You swap her in that Bennett ult, right, during that rotation, boom, overcharge ball damage. I am very excited for this character. And that's why I'm saying that's at Constellation 0. C0 for all of that, I can't imagine what we can get from Constellation. So Constellation is going to give you a little bit ease of access. Nothing super crazy is in here either. Nothing seems like it's Constellation walled for once in my life in Genshin Impact as a player. C1's going to give you a little bit of energy back. C2 is going to give you a little bit extra pyro damage explosion, right? The explosion is going to help you set off more overload reactions. We don't really care too much about that, but it's a little bit of a damage increase. C3 and 5, as always, are increasing our skills. C4 one is interesting. So if you use the hold version, it's not going to go on cooldown. You can use it 2 times basically within 6 seconds. So you can use the hold, do damage. It will probably proc its own overloaded reaction, giving you the overloaded ball back to use another empowered skill as well. So it's probably her best Constellation. And then Constellation 6 is going to give you a little bit extra healing, and it's going to give you some damage bonus, Pyro and Electro damage bonus. And it can stack up to 3 times, meaning this goes all the way up to 60% Pyro and Electro. So that one's really nice as well. 4 and 6 are pretty big constellations, but you don't really need that to make her pretty awesome in your teams. Oh, and she's got a gun, I guess. You know, that's pretty cool. I thought Fontaine was supposed to be based off like France or something, not America. What? And she seems pretty easy to use. My only gripe about her is this elemental burst, because this is basically just Aloy's elemental burst. It's a little bit better though. You kind of shoot it off, you do some damage, and there's some explosions. Neat, I guess. But the ability to have this character as what it is, a supportive option for these nice Pyro Electro focused teams, is something that we've really been missing in Genshin Impact, because if you put Pyro and Electro in a team, yeah, you get the overload reaction. You usually want to put an Animo character for maybe some grouping, but most importantly, the Veritas and Venmer set. But really what you get to do now is have a healer who can do a little bit of damage for you, who plays nicely with characters like Bennett, plays nicely with characters like Xingling, Raiden Shogun, Kujo Sara if you're doing that hyper team as well. She plays really nicely with a lot of things, and she also gives you some pretty okay healing. So you can gain some nice sort of slot efficiency, right? When we talk about slot efficiency, we have a healer who does a little bit of damage, who has Veritas and Venmer set on automatically for you, gives you an attack % bonus. So you can view this as like Noblish Oblige or Tenacity, the Millicet set being on one of your supports. She has all of that for free. She's very slot efficient. So tons of potential here. I probably won't get her because I'm saving up for future stuff, but maybe I'll have to try to just get one for my Raiden team, because I love Raiden Shogun so much, and she's gonna fit really well in that team. I'm telling you, she's gonna fit really nicely there as well. Artifact setup, you can do basically anything. I don't know why she's on Songs of Days Past in here. This is terrible. I'm not sure why this is here. And then we also have this weapon selection, the Rightful Reward. I mean, it gives you energy, it helps, right? But we don't really care too much about her burst. If we had like a sacrificial spear in the game, that would be amazing, because you'd be able to go in, use her charge shot on hold, have the spear, that sacrificial spear, proc, do some damage that way, and reuse it because you're proccing overload again. But we don't have access to that, sadly. Mahoyo, please work on that for us there. But there's gonna be a lot of weird weapons you can throw in here. I mean, you could even do the Zhongli black tassel or white tassel, or whatever, has just a bunch of HP % on it. If you don't care about anything else, maybe get some bonus damage to slimes while you're at it. And maybe give her a crit rate pole arm so you can get some more damage off with her short range rapid fire interdiction fire. I'm not even short range rapid interdiction fire. Right on, dude. Artifact setup. Listen, anything outside of this would probably be a step up. Let's be honest here. You can do some cool stuff with her too. Maybe if you wanted to get in on that big quick swap, big burst damage, overcharged ball, you give her like a golden troop setup where she swaps in, has that big 75% bonus damage to her skill, uses it, swaps right on out, and you lose it for staying on field, but she's not going to really be an on-field character. So Golden Troop for big damage would be pretty nice. Or you go with some more supportive options, maybe throw some old Noblish Oblige stuff on her, anything of that nature to help those teams out. I'm sure someone out there would be like, Lava Walker, because you'll just cleanse the Pyro and Electro. I wouldn't do that. That seems really bad. So is this a character that we like desperately needed in Genshin Impact? I don't think like desperately needed is the word, but I do think that it's pretty cool to have access to in our back pocket. And I think that we're gonna have the ability for some of these Pyro and Electro focused teams that maybe kind of wanted an Animo character for the resistant shred, you could just throw this in there. Honestly, having a character that's got Viridus and Venreset that heals for you and can also help you apply Pyro and Electro to facilitate the game plan of the rest of your team and doing reactions and doing big damage and taking benefits off of Bennett, which was a smart thing that they put here, making this not an HP percent mod, but an attack mod, is gonna be pretty decent. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff you can do with Chevreuse. Let me know what you think about it down below. She's got a gun.